about those Vixens? Simone's girls have done it again. They're through to another grand final, coming all the way from fourth to win Game of the Year. Welcome to the Backcourt, episode 20. We've got another huge show. As per usual, we're talking the greatest comeback in sport. We're talking the other greatest comeback in sport. And we're going to preview the big dance. Joining me, as ever, a very excited Vixen supporter, but a very sad Demon supporter, producer Liv.
Hello and choo-choo.
Choo-choo.
The Vixens are through to the grand final. How exciting.
You must be stoked with that.
What a game.
Yes. And, of course, we lived every minute of it, the backcourt, didn't we? We rode every bump.
We were live. We were watching it. We had nothing else to be doing but watching the Vixens.
Do you want to start with that, Liv? We'll start with Sunday. It's 2:00. The big game rolls around. Everyone's nervous across the backcourt HQ, all three of us.
Yeah.
And we tune in at 2 p.m.
And as always, we're really prepared. We're thinking to ourselves, biggest game of the season. We're going to need to be online and ready to react to this.
And we were online.
We were online.
Okay, we'll start with, do you want to start with you or me, where we were when the Vixens won?
Well, I was out for lunch with my grandparents.
That's a non-negotiable.
Who, by the way, say they love our TV show.
Yes, yes.
So
on network backcourt.
Yeah, so that was lovely. Was out for lunch with them and then was in the car on the way home.
Uber?
No, my sister was driving.
Oh, lovely.
So I was passenger princess and I was watching it on my phone. And in that last fourth quarter, even my sister driving was like, turn it up. I want to be able to listen to it. Yeah.
Wow. There you go.
It was, what a game.
What a game. Do you want to know where I was?
Yeah, where were you?
Okay,
I think you're going to tell me anyway.
So I'm going to tell you because it's in the running sheet.
Yeah.
So basically, as you mentioned, they're non-negotiables.
Yeah.
We all have with my darling wife, we have non-negotiables that there are certain events that you cannot miss, regardless. Because I've missed a lot of weddings for sport and stuff, but there's a list of non-negotiables. And on Sunday, I watched the game to 3/4, and then we had to drive to a nearby wine bar for a 60th, very close family friend's 60th. And I was watching the game on my phone in the car, and the Vixens were chipping away. And I didn't particularly think they were going to pull it off. But as we pulled up to the wine bar, they just got it back to, I think, about 6 goals. It was just for the Power 5. And Kate turned to me and said, put your phone away.
Put your phone down.
I don't think she said it like that. It was more of a, don't be.
Hofstadt. That's what he does in his DJ sets. Anyway.
Oh, is he? There you go. It's an early mention of Marlon Hofstadt.
Yeah.
Probably the first and last.
Probably, yeah.
So I've decided, like, they're not going to win anyway. I'll put my phone away. And then I received 3 text messages in a very crowded room at a 60th from a dear friend of mine who I wouldn't say he's a netball nuffy.
Yep.
He's across the sport. But his mother-in-law definitely is. And he sent me a message saying, is the Vixens fairy tale still on? And I said, what do you mean? He goes, it's mother-in-law's name. I'm going to change it to.
Why didn't you change it?
In case she listens and she doesn't want people to know.
Yeah, go ahead then.
Okay, go on.
Off you go.
I'm going to change it to Bridget.
That's my sister's name.
Exactly. So Bridget is laying an actual egg. All right, there's an actual egg on the ground. And then I clicked. The Vixens must have won. Check the score and they've put off an absolute miracle. And that's when the backcourt social sprung into action.
I tell you what, never in doubt. I turned it on, they were 10 down, and I thought to myself, this is where they thrive though. Like super shot time.
Let them go.
Calm under pressure. They've got Garbo and Kira Austin on court.
Just casually forgetting the best player.
Kidding.
Yeah.
And they were calm under pressure and absolutely pulled off the comeback of all time. But yeah, so we were both kind of like in transit.
Yes. Well, yes. We weren't able to be enthralled.
Yeah, but we were watching, and then I got on the Instagram stories, which isn't normally my job.
No. And job is a strong word because neither of us are paid.
Yeah, no.
But yes, so we went about it and we really did enjoy the interaction we had.
I loved it.
I really liked it.
That was my first time like interacting with the backcourt fam.
Well, people really liked your work too, didn't they, Liv? So I went through some of the replies because not all the replies come to the front of the podcast because some people aren't following or there's a few different ones. And I just noticed that a couple of people were really interested in your particular stories. And we had one that replied, oh my God, how good was that game just then, Olivia? ... Go Vixens. And I thought, geez, that person really loves Liv. Referring to her as Olivia. I sent that to you, turned out it was your auntie.
Yeah, it had to be a relative, right?
Yeah.
That was my auntie.
And then the next one, also using it as if it was a direct channel. Liv, you're amazing. Robert stumbled upon your pub video. Your podcast is so good. 4 stars. So we haven't quite hit 5 stars there from Liv's family friends. But it's so good to know they're using the Instagram as a WhatsApp.
Yeah, I think I realised that I never really told anyone I was going on a podcast. I kind of just like
appeared.
And obviously coming in as a temporary replacement host, I kind of just like jumped in and started doing it. Didn't really scream and shout about it. Haven't really shared that much on my socials. And so people have just like organically started to find out.
Well, they've seen you on TV. they've seen clips of your TV show. And they've thought, geez, Olivia's doing well for herself.
Yeah.
That's good to see.
Yeah, my pop, who was the one that said, nice TV show, says I'm going to be on the news next. So watch out.
Hopefully not. Maybe we'll see what we have to do to get on the news. Look, we'll address another elephant in the room. The D's shat themselves, Liv.
Oh.
So your Sunday was going well, 3:35 p.m, I'd say. The Vixens are through their grand final. You are over the moon. Best case scenario, we both got a correct tip. One of the all-time comebacks, and the Saints said, hold my beer.
Kicked
9 goals to the 0-4. The D's in a meaningless game, but nonetheless, it felt like more than that. Shat the bed. How did your emotions, after becoming famous for 15 minutes on the socials, did you come back to earth with that?
Oh, brought me back to earth very quickly. But I was kind of still doing the Instagram story, so that kind of kept me distracted from the game. But how disappointing. What a flop from the D's. It's just so frustrating, especially like I'm now learning the intricacies of the 666 rule.
Yes, well, we were discussing that just before.
Yeah, and I can't believe that they even dabbled with that. But so frustrating. It feels like being a D supporter in the early 2000s again. But
it's all right. You're a Vixen supporter.
It actually took me back to that game when, what was it? It was the biggest margin of all time, or the most points kicked ever.
Geelong-Melbourne.
The Geelong-Melbourne game. That's what it felt like.
Is that Mark Neild or Dean Bailey?
I can't remember. I reckon it was Mark Neild.
It was one of them.
Anyway.
Geelong always do that. But 9-2 to 0-4 in the last quarter.
Yeah.
Is that the equivalent of in netball? Because the Vixens shot 25-14 in the last quarter. So do you think that's similar?
Nah.
You reckon the Saints one's bigger? Which one's worse?
I think the D's one's worse.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think 14 because they've still scored 14.
And the Saints were out of the game more than the Vixens were out of the game.
Yeah, Vixens are still, and it was a prelim final, so of course they're going to go to the end.
That rev up from Simone at 3/4 time, like they knew they were still in it. They knew that they could do a comeback like that. And as we spoke about last week, they know how to play well in a prelim.
I think that speech is both the easiest to give and the hardest to give because I think across the country in all sports at 3/4 time every Saturday there is a coach that makes that speech that we can do this. I went and watched my now team earlier in the year and they were down by 6 goals at 3/4 time and the coach said, if we just kick a goal every 5 minutes, we'll win. And they did, but the other team kicked goals every 3 minutes. But
do you reckon
the execution from Simone was very good.
Yeah. Does it lose its impact though?
Oh, I think if it was like you have obviously prelim final, like it was very well delivered, but if they win, if they lose, just another speech. Yeah. I think it's all, but it was a very, and she's very good at that. She's an absolute vibesman, Simone.
And what about like Kate Maloney also? She was saying like, we've done this before. She's the rev up queen as well.
She's the prototype captain. If you went into AI, chat GPT, and put in, show me a captain of a sporting team, just pops up Kate Maloney. Yeah.
I also loved her in the post-game interview. She was saying that they've had to treat every game like a do or die for the last 7 weeks. So
yeah, probably. It's going well.
Well, they haven't been able to lose one since they said they were going to the pub. No. Since they went to the pub, they haven't lost one.
I think they've lost a couple, but yeah, they lost the fever.
Oh, well, short-term
we'll get back to that
anyway. We'll come back to that.
We can agree on one thing. It's definitely okay to like the Vixens. You wanted to touch on another big event from the weekend.
Yeah, did you listen to the Triple J's Hottest 100 Australian songs on Saturday?
No, I didn't. I was unfortunately playing footy and then just didn't get around to it. But you listened to a few?
Well, I just wanted to bring it up because we only listened to like the last 10 songs maybe.
That's all you need to hear.
Put it on while we were having some prees on Saturday afternoon and I just felt like I was back at the harp, a place that is very close to both of our hearts.
Extremely close.
And I think everybody has a harp in their life.
Yes. So the harp, for those who don't know, is a bar. It's
a pub.
Yeah, it's a pub, and it has it's somehow created a niche for itself as like a Sunday sort of go-to not a nightclub, but yeah, you stayed all hours sort of set up.
Yeah, it's just a pub, but it has this guy called Gary Eastwood who has been playing at the Harp every Sunday night for over 20 years.
He'd be one of those guys too that if a person who doesn't understand the concept of Gary Eastwood, the context, would just think it's quite strange that this old man goes to the pub every Sunday and plays songs for very young people. But
yeah, well, but legend, right? To the point where they give out T-shirts that have "I love the Harp" on the back, and then on the front there's a photo of Gary, and it says "I was at Gary's 21st Harp anniversary." But I said to one of my friends, I'd give a lot for one more night at the Harp, but I want to be 22 years old again.
Yeah, you have to be. Yeah, you have to be under 24.
Not have to go to work on the Monday.
No. Yeah, the Harp was it's sticky floors. It's the same music. It's the same people.
Yeah, but the reason why it was all those same songs, Cold Chisel, there were a few songs in there, and it took me back.
I'm going to have something controversial before we get into the news.
Yeah.
Veronica's Untouched came third, I think.
Yeah.
Look, it's a good song. It's a banger when you're out, but I actually don't. I don't think Untouched is that good by the Veronicas.
I tell you what, Untouched is a good song.
But it's not top 10.
But it's done its dash.
Yeah. I think it had one of those resurgence where I think someone found it and it was it's not bad, but you know what? It's almost so funny that it's good.
Yeah.
I
think it's good, but I think that the Veronicas are also just holding on to it
they've got one song.
Their last hope.
Anyway,
They've got
good
a few
on them.
songs, but yeah.
Hopefully one of our clips takes off and we can just do that for the rest of our lives.
Just repeat the clip.
Yeah. Which clip do you reckon it'll be?
When they play the Untouched song, they announce it they normally say, "Now everybody please stand for Australia's national anthem."
Yeah. Untouched. I don't know.
What do you reckon?
I don't like it that much. I don't like it. I like it. I get it. It's a good one when you're out and about, but I don't think it's top 10. I think in the end, Never Tear Us Apart's a good one. But we can debate this another time. Maybe we have to do a top. Liv can do a Hottest 100 review. We've got to get into the action. So let's go into some Netty news. We're back. Prelim final chat again, Liv. You're very excited about this. The Swifts 65 defeated by the Melbourne Vixens 66. The Vixens, we've already sort of discussed it, but we'll go over again. The Vixens trailed by 10 at the last break. Simone McInnes gave them one of the all-time rev-ups. And then they won the last quarter 25-14. The first note we have here is how the f*** have they done that?
Just they've done it with a whole lot of grace, a whole lot of I don't even know the word. Why do they use grace? But they just put ball to ring. Ball to ring.
There you have it. I think that might do us. That's as good as the summary's going to get. No, you're right. They had that freedom of you're 10 goals down the prelim away from home. It didn't matter. They were playing with the freedom of they weren't expected to come back from there.
Yeah.
And obviously Simone at three-quarter time encouraged, I think she encouraged the defenders. It was one of those weird speeches where she encouraged everyone to just let it go and have a crack, but then she immediately followed it up by saying, be disciplined.
Yeah.
Which I really like. That's just the quintessential sporting coach speech. Do this, but don't do it too much.
Yeah.
But yeah, they went out with that. The defenders especially went out with an ability to just go for ball. Rudy Ellis had a great game. The whole game on Grace Wecky. She had 6 gains, but that intercept in the last quarter in particular was clutch, wasn't it?
Yeah. I also think the big impact was that the Vixens, especially obviously in that last quarter, they were really able to convert off the Swifts' mistakes.
Mm-hmm.
So, goals from gains, Swifts had 6% so that they only had 4, whereas the Vixens had 9. So, I think that was probably what made the difference in the end. And then, of course, the super shot shootout, which we can't seem
well
to say.
executed.
Super shot shootout.
You did that better when you were trying to fuck it up.
Yeah. They just were calm under pressure. Sophie Garbo was fantastic.
Yeah, Garbo. I think we've got to give Garbo some credit. She probably doesn't like being called Garbo, but that's what it is. People, I think she's very easy to criticise.
Yeah.
And maybe goal shooters as a whole are easy to criticise because their role is so, it's not simple, but it seems so simple on paper. Because if you think about it, Janelle Fowler, everyone tries to find a reason why she's not that good.
Yeah.
Grace Wecky, we'll get to her in a bit, but she's only 23 and people are talking like she should be the greatest player of all time. And then you think about Cara Conan and Sophie Garben, anytime they stuff up at all, people come for them. But in the last quarter, she shot 17 from 17. Yeah. And also, it wasn't just her shooting. She took some really strong takes, is the parlance I believe you meant to use.
Yeah.
Because obviously the Vixens were sort of throwing caution to the wind with their feeds. They were letting the ball go a bit earlier from deep. and she was taking the ball pretty much out of Sarah Clow's hands at times. So just want to give Garbo a shout out. I thought when I rewatched the last quarter after 7 beers, I thought she was magnificent. So hopefully Sophie's listening to this. Choo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think a lot of it was the mid-court though. I think especially for the Swifts, they also obviously played a strong game, right? Because it was just that last quarter that made the difference.
Oh, they were up by 10, 3 quarters.
Yeah. But what did you think of Paige Hadley's performance?
This is another hindsighty one too, because if she goes off and they lose, everyone's like, why did you take your best mid-quarter off? Or arguably your best player, because Helen Housley's had a bit of a down run. Grace is still only 23. So I don't think Bryony Akel can win, because if she takes her off and they lose, everyone's like, why the hell did you take Paige Hadley off? And then she keeps her on, and she visibly couldn't make more than one effort at a time. She would have one effort in her and then pretty much have to stop. Because if you look at the stats, Grace White had 40 feeds and Paige only had 13 for the game, which is an indicator that she couldn't make that second phase and get to the circle edge, which is usually a really important part of her game.
Yeah.
But I do feel for Bryony Akel. It's one of those ones where she cannot win.
I don't know. I see where you're coming from, but I think that probably where the game was lost for me was that she could have made more changes through the midcourt.
Yeah, possibly.
I think with Ali Smith and Verity, there was space to make change through the midcourt, but possibly she was scarred because of the following week. The criticism of the major semi-final was that she made too many changes through the midcourt and just they couldn't quite settle.
Yeah. I think the Verity one's probably fair, but Grace White obviously was the best winger. You have to take Paige off pretty much, don't you?
But, she was struggling to hit the circle.
Yeah. But I feel for either way because because they lost, she's wrong.
Yeah. I think that if I was Bryony Akel, I would have almost been injecting Paige for 5-minute bursts every now and then just for the impact.
Yeah.
And then bringing her off, keeping her warm and going again.
Yeah, maybe in high. Again, you need to know the what type of injury it is too.
Yeah.
Because if it's a muscle, if it's something where if she cools down, she's done. It might be one of those ones where, because in hindsight, you maybe when they were going well, do you take her off while you're in front?
Yeah.
And make sure she's got the energy. But it might have been one of those injuries where once she stops, she's done. So
but if they had her off and then injected her in that fourth quarter, I think it could have been a very different outcome.
Yeah. But I just think and this is the nature of society, where our thinking is now because we know what happened.
Yeah.
So it's sort of, but that's another thing with netball, because we don't actually know what Paige, we just know Paige is injured. Because we don't know what it is, we can't comment. If we knew, for example, that it was an ankle, and it's right, well, maybe you can take her off, she gets another jab or whatever it is and put it back on. But if we know it's an injury where once it's cooled down, you're done. Exactly. But we don't know.
We don't.
Because they're secretive, they can't defend themselves. So anyway, but it was a magnificent win. There's another couple of things that we noticed throughout the game, and one more thing of serious I actually want to bring up is Tara Watson made her debut in wing attack. Another Watson for the Vixens.
And what a debut at that.
She did really well. So they took Zara Walters off, I think it was in the second quarter, just because I think Zara's obviously a better player, but I think Lambden had started to wear her down. So they brought Tara Watson on just to add something different, and she did really, really well. She got to the circle edge quite well. She didn't look like for her debut, she looked completely unflustered, which was really impressive. Apparently she can play all three positions across the midcourt.
Really?
So that's why she's the ultimate cover, because if anyone goes down, she's a perfect replacement. But I really like it. I do still think, though, you can tell that they're missing Mundy, and we will get back to our theory that she might play this weekend later on.
Yeah. Do you know how long Tara was on court for?
I'd say, I think she finished the second quarter and started the third. So I'd say almost about 15 minutes, give or take.
Okay. Because in that time, she managed to have 3 goal assists, 4 centre pass receives, 4 feeds, and 1 deflection.
Yeah. She for her first game, I think she's only 20 as well. So she was really impressive.
Yeah.
But I did think watching that they do miss Mundy, because Maloney's offensive output was ultra impressive, but that's not usually her go. So you can tell she has to take on a bit more of the attacking workload.
Yeah.
But yeah, again, you can't really fault them. They did, and it was also really interesting to see that Simone was actually willing to do that, given she hasn't really used the bench for 8 weeks.
But 8 weeks, she hasn't used it for a few years. It's felt
she started this year, she started using it, and then it didn't work, so she went back to her old style.
There was a mass exodus of training partners last year because they just, I don't know, not putting words in their mouths, but I would have thought it's because they weren't getting a run.
Putting words in.
So it was really good to see her use the bench a little bit.
Yeah, Do you want to do some of the fun before we get into the Grace Wecky stuff about the last couple of minutes? We will do a couple of things that we all noticed. There's been another opposition fan online saying that the Vixens were cheating with their intentional playing around of the ball, and I just think that the Vixens are still yet to address this claim. And I think the longer they're silent, the more that they admit guilt.
They're not going to address it, Matt.
I think they need to address it. I think they need to come out and say, we are intentionally delaying the play. And it is disgusting. It's disgusting.
You're just rage baiting.
No, it's disgusting what they're doing to opposition teams. It's absolutely disgusting. And the best part was Kath Cox has played how many games of professional netball?
She still doesn't know.
She's played 120 of them for the Swifts. Probably more, actually, because remember she said she was going to kneecap Dudley. And she's played shitloads for the Diamonds. And she's on coach going, I wonder if they're playing near the round. Oh, what do you reckon, Kath? They did it last week. I put that on stories, and you know who laughed at that story?
Don't out her.
Chatters.
Don't out her.
Chatters liked it. Coxie's not listening to this.
No, Chatters doesn't need to be outed.
If I come across Coxie this weekend, I'll be having a word to her. Come on, Kath. You've played how many games in netball? What do you think they were doing? Yeah. Oh, the defence. They've scored 24 goals in a quarter. You reckon all of a sudden they can't get to the circle edge? Ridiculous. Anyway, both commentators at different points of the game, Bianca and Kath, also said the Vixens struggled in last quarters, and they scored all of their goals in the last quarter.
Anecdotally, I haven't looked at the numbers on this, but I don't think the Vixens struggle in last quarters.
I think
that's come out of absolutely nowhere.
No, they would get sent information.
Of course. But
it's also like struggling and winning them are different. So like they might lose all the last quarters, but they only lose them by one. And then it's like, well, technically they haven't won a last quarter, but also you don't know the context of the game.
But how many Vixens games have we watched or been to where...
None.
Yeah, okay. Where they've
we
just
didn't
come
watch
out
them
of
on the
nowhere.
weekend.
Anyway.
So the Vixens have cheated. They've taken all the time up and they've left the Swifts about 7 seconds and they get it into the circle.
They should have... What? Like...
I think what happens is Wecky wants to go for the win. She also, if you look where she takes it, she would never shoot from there normally.
Yeah. So the commentary online was, why did Grace had an opportunity to pass the ball? She was right to shoot the ball. She was right under the ring, and she chose to pass it off to Helen Housby. The commentary was, why didn't she take that shot? That would have brought it back to even, and then it would have gone into extra time. But our opinions are clearly she was trying to go for the win. Possibly thought she had another couple of seconds up her sleeve. She was looking for a 2-pointer.
And also, and another element as well is if you look where she takes the ball, I would like to know the stats of how many shots she's taken from that depth. She's not going to turn – if she turns and shoots from there, like yes, again, it's all hindsight, but she's quite a way out for Grace. I don't think she's put up a super shot attempt all year.
Yeah.
And there was some other commentary as well that I think the previous score that the Swifts put up, they didn't take the 2. How Grace had it and looked to Helen and was like, "Do you want?" And Helen was like, "No, shoot the 1."
Yeah.
When people are saying you're the best super shotter in SSN history, why aren't you taking the 2?
I had a lot of people when I was doing the Insta stuff on Sunday night.
Relatives or non-relatives?
Non-relatives, both. My family chat doesn't have a WhatsApp anymore.
Oh, no, you just got the backcourt DMs. It's good for engagement. Good.
Yeah, great for engagement. A lot of people were really not happy with the way that they felt like Helen needed to step up. Yeah. Which I don't feel educated enough in this space to have an opinion on it, but I think that she should have stepped up more. Yeah,
it's a hard one. I didn't watch the last quarter in real time, so I can't really comment too much. And like you, I'd hate to cast aspersions on professional athletes, given neither of us ever were one.
No, so you were almost one.
I was almost one. So maybe I can comment. No, but look, it was an unbelievable game. I think that's something like the last 3 of the last 4 prelims have been decided. Well, actually, I think all 4. 2022 was a goal. 2023, Sophie Fawns decided it late with the super shot.
Yeah.
In extra
Lucy
time.
Austin.
And then that was a semi-final. But then last year's prelim, we were there, it was 1 point, even though the Vixens pretty much let the Fever come back into it.
Yeah.
I think the prelim final always delivers.
It does.
So to be fair, the finals in the Super Netball over the last sort of 3 or 4 years have all delivered. There hasn't been a blowout besides last year's major semi.
But without jumping the gun, do you think the Vixens have played their grand final now? That was another
I think we'll save that for later.
We'll save that?
But it is but that's another one that we love rolling out. That's a really good, it's a nice little trope. But we've got to move on. We'll move on to a little bit of other stuff just to whet the appetite before we jump into the big dance preview. We did a little bit about rebuilding the Giants last week, Liv.
Yeah,
and we foreshadowed. And look, we're not going to claim the fact that we predicted JLP leaving because every man and his dog knew that JLP was going to leave. But it was confirmed early last week or late last week that she's going to be allowed to leave her contract early because she was technically contracted to the Giants for 2026, but they've come to an agreement. I think the Giants sort of look at it and go, well, she's been here since the start. She's done everything for it. It's not like her performances went downhill. I think she won their Player of the Year again.
Yeah.
So she's going to come to Melbourne. The question
she hasn't
is...
said that yet.
No, it is. It's Melbourne.
Well, it's obviously Melbourne.
No, but the statement I'm 100% confident said she's going to explore.
Okay,
yeah.
right.
Well, but yes, it's obvious. Hope White has signed for them, as has Amy Sligo. So it's good news for the Giants. But JLP, Mavs or Vixens?
Somebody asked me this on the weekend. It's got to be Mavs, but I kind of think it would be funny if she ended up at the Vixens for some reason.
You know what the parallels, and we can clip this up for socials. It reminds me a bit of the Buddy Franklin when he moved to the Swans.
Yeah.
In that the whole year everyone was like, he's got to go to the Giants. The Giants have got the salary cap. The Giants are the new team. They'll want someone to go there, another big name to help push them up. And then at the last minute, the Swans sort of go, actually, we can make it work. And I just wouldn't be surprised if the Vixens, you got to remember, you got Austin, Garvin, Maloney, and let's say Weston are on the big bucks.
Yeah.
Joe Weston's got that many sponsorship deals. She might go, you know what? Slice a bit of my wage off. I'll go sign with, Telstra.
Joe Weston.
Yep. I'll get another partnership. Maloney and that are the three. The other ones are all, Hannah Mundy's probably, okay, she's in the upper echelon, but the rest of them are all first yearers. So they'll get the base.
But I don't think it's the salary, it's the space in the team. And I think the Vixens actually probably have more space in their midcourt than the Mavs do. I'm agreeing.
No. But Jamie Lee's better than all the Mavs midcourters.
Yeah, but she's better. But you look, Mavs have already re-signed Molly. They've already re-signed Palmy.
Yeah. That just means Molly has to play wing attack.
Yeah, so it's Maisie's spot that's possibly on the line.
Maisie and Taylor Fraser would be the ones who'd be a bit worried. But from the Vixens' point of view, if JLP went to the Vixens, her or Maloney would play wing defence, which I believe is actually where they both started.
Yeah.
Or definitely Jamie Lee. And then it just means Zara Walters moves back to the bench with Mundy back. Means Kate Eddy can play more in goal. Obviously, we don't want to see Kate Eddy moved out. But it's it wouldn't be a watch as well. I just wouldn't be surprised. There's friendships already there, I'm sure. And obviously, Palmy's at the Mavs. I'd say the smart thinking is Mavs. But I've just seen stranger things occur. And also, if the Vixens, it's back-to-back grannies, if they win the flag, JLP, she's desperate to win a premiership.
She is.
Why would you go to a team that look like they're going to take a few more years when you've got a winning machine?
Yeah. My gut's telling me she'll end up at the Vixens.
There you go.
It is. Sorry. Everybody's saying that she's going to go to the Mavs because she's friends with Palmy.
Yes.
But
she's friends with everyone. She's played in the Diamonds for 15 years. I've made that up. Obviously, it's an exaggeration. Anyway.
I don't know. Watch this space.
Other one, already mentioned Hope White, Amy Sligo. Liv, we actually got a message on how to pronounce this, actually. It's Sheen.
I said it right the first time in my video.
And I mansplained it to you. I did. I mansplained it.
Cut that up for social so everybody can see him admitting that he mansplains the whole time.
I admit it all the time. I'm very aware that I have numerous flaws. Anyway, it's rumoured again, there was an article online from Code and a lot of people, I've seen it online, that people are pretty much saying that she's definitely going to go to the Giants. So if that happens, you can take the cake for that one, Liv. I didn't see anyone else saying it before you said it.
Except for that article that the Super Netball wrote.
Yeah.
Back in January about Janelle Fowler, whoever they were.
Actually, if you look at the byline, I don't want you have to figure that one. Anyway, and the other big news, we didn't see this one coming, and honestly, this actually made me sad. Hannah Petty's retired. I know. I was really sad about this. This was my She's a weapon.
She is a weapon. And I did that was my first ever floating head video. And
that's probably when they saw you.
Yeah, they
your
saw
family
me
members. They said that's Olivia.
Oh, it probably was, actually. But Hannah Petty's retired, which is
age of 28?
Yeah. So to retire at 28, you've got to have something on the horizon.
Yeah, maybe. She has played from a very young age.
She has.
And your body, it's still 12 years in the system, whatever. Yeah. But yes, there is an obvious.
So I think obviously her brother plays for the D's.
Mm-hmm.
And they're a footy family. Mm-hmm. I think it makes a lot of sense for her to go and play AFLW.
Well, Port struggle a bit more than the Crows. But there's two teams, obviously.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised. It'd depend on, whether her body's up to it. Obviously, she's pretty much achieved all she could without playing diamonds. She's captained her team to two grand finals, one of them at home. Mm-hmm. I would have said she's played at least over 100 games. she's just one of those players where I don't think anyone could dislike Hannah Petty because she's the every person, a bit like Kate Eddy, a bit like other players where you can see yourself in them.
Yeah.
I think you can see yourself in Hannah Petty. She got the absolute most of herself. And maybe she looked at the team and thought, maybe we need a bit of a, Taylor Williams spends a lot of time on the bench.
Yeah.
Maybe she thought, I need to get out of the way.
I was going to say, there's a little bit of commentary on that video that I did about people suggesting that maybe her hands were tied a little bit because there's so many young up-and-comers in the mid-court.
Well, maybe they were looking elsewhere.
Yeah.
Because there were rumours that other clubs, for example, Jamie Lee's leaving, so maybe the Giants were into Taylor Williams.
Yeah.
So maybe she's gone, you know what, for the benefit of the Thunderbirds.
Keep Taylor here.
I'll move off. I'll go kick 15 goals a year for the Crows in the forward pocket.
I wonder what her setup is. Maybe she'll play AFLW somewhere else.
Maybe. Well, are they from South Australia? Yeah.
Yeah, they are. Yeah, because
so
there are all those rumours about Harry Petty going back.
In hindsight. Anyway, the T-Birds, we've got here where do the T-Birds look. Tanya Ops has shown her hand many times before. She pretty much promotes from the system within. And South Australia is a very, very strong netballing state. They always go very, very well in the national championships and the reserves and so on. But speaking of teams that are looking for their next step, it's the Mavericks. They had their Mad Monday. It looked like a really enjoyable Mad Monday, not your typical blokey macho Mad Monday where we go to a outer skirts pub in the city and just destroy ourselves in our reputations. The Mavericks did it nice and clean, good, wholesome fun, still a lot of drinking. Clearly someone has a farm. And they went out there. It was rhyme without reason, dressing up. I've sent you the TikTok.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on it? It looked like a great time.
My thoughts are, of the Mad Mondays I've seen so far coming out of the Super Netball.
At least mad.
They've won.
Mm-hmm.
Theirs looked like the most fun. If I had to choose one to go to, I would choose theirs.
Well, because one of the other ones, the Swifts looked like yesterday they just went to a winery.
I didn't even really see.
But to be fair, I guess they probably thought they were going to make the grand final.
Yeah.
Firebirds sat around
and I don't really want to go to the Swifts because they would have been really sad.
Well, you wouldn't have been wearing your Vixens scarf.
Exactly.
Yeah. Firebirds just sat around eating cheese.
Yeah, both the Queensland teams, they just put wigs on and ate cheese. So I think I'd be choosing the Mavs, but it looked like
the
a lot of fun.
Giants looked like they went to an Airbnb. That looked quite cozy. I don't know how much drinking was done.
Yeah.
But that's what I mean. The Mavs actually had the mad part without disgracing themselves.
They did.
But yeah, the dress-ups were rhyme without reason. So it's something like, you got I think one was like a cone and I'll be honest, I didn't watch the full,
Is it that one where they go as like,
it's just like the two words rhyme, but they have nothing to do with each other.
Yeah. Goon bag and something.
Tag. E-tag.
E-tag.
Goon bag and E-tag.
There you go.
Yeah, that's what it is. It's on one of the, I think it's Taylor Fraser's TikTok. Speaking of, she's not shadow banned. Her TikToks always come through.
Yeah, they're going well.
But it looked like they had great fun. And I just think it's a good group of people to drink with. I did see one TikTok of Amy Parmenter doing, I think it's like something to do with surfboards. It looks like it's someone's like farmhouse because there's a lot of like family photos and sporting stuff in the background.
Yeah.
Yeah, a bit of a hobby farm.
Speaking of good people to drink with.
Well, you had a great weekend of drinking.
I did actually, yeah.
Yeah. 2 weekends in a row, mind you.
Yeah.
Back in
Look
form.
At me go, back in form. Yeah, so the Blue Bowlers for the last couple of years have done an annual cocktail night.
Yeah, go on.
When does it become an annual cocktail night if you
I think if you've done it, I think if you do it one more time, it's annual.
Yeah, okay.
Because we did an annual Friendmas.
Yeah.
We started it. My darling wife loves hosting people. So the first year she let's do Friendmas. Everyone over to our 2-bedroom apartment, 20 people in the living room. We've cleared shit out and we've never done it again.
So it wasn't annual.
So it wasn't annual. We just did it.
Yeah, right.
So this one's closing in on annual.
It's closing in on annual. But last year, so what we do is we use like an online generator to put us all in teams, one girl, one boy in each team. Mm-hmm. And last year we each had a different type of alcohol.
Right.
So,
and you had to make a cocktail from that.
Yep. So there was a vodka, a gin team. And I felt like I was stitched up last year because me and my friend Hamish had whiskey, which you can't really do anything good with whiskey.
Fireball and Coke. Is that a cocktail? That's just a mixed drink, isn't it?
That's just a mixed drink, right? But this year, we instead of doing different types of alcohol, each team had a different colour.
Right. So you were blue because if people follow your socials.
I was blue. And so me and my friend Jaden, we made a fruit tingle.
Yum.
Which I'd
but
only
they come out purple, don't they?
They're blue. Because were you at the Ballers last year when we went to?
No. But I have been boxing. So Christmas Eve, my friends and I usually catch up at a pub and we've had fruit tingles before, but I swear they were purple.
They sort of are. It depends on how much raspberry cordial you put in. Right. Anyway, it was lucky.
What blue? Are we talking backcourt blue?
Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's backcourt blue, like the light blue, and then you put the raspberry cordial in and it becomes the dark blue.
And it becomes, nice. Yeah, that's good.
Anyway, our drink wasn't very good, but we made up for it in our costume.
Right.
Yeah. So we went to Kmart on Saturday thinking we were just going to look for like a blue accessory.
Yes.
And then we actually bought some stuff and on the way out saw these like Stitch from Lilo and Stitch costumes.
Yeah.
And Jaden looked at me and he was like, Liv, we've got to do it.
It's a sign.
It's a sign. And on the package for the costumes, there was like 2 people, a girl and a boy.
Do you think Kmart are saying them because of the movie?
Yeah. The amount of Stitch like memorabilia in Kmart at the moment
Have you seen it? The movie?
No intention to.
No. I don't want it to ruin it.
Yeah. Anyway, put on the costume and it was really funny.
Well, maybe we should wear the Stitch outfits to backcourt trivia.
I think we should.
Which is tonight if you're listening to this.
Yeah.
We're releasing this on Thursday morning as per.
I reckon we'll be sold out by now.
Yeah.
But
especially if we're wearing Stitch outfits.
Get last minute tickets if you're listening to this today.
Do you reckon I'll squeeze into the Stitch outfit?
I think we should put Producer X in a Stitch hat.
No, Producer X is going to be walking around with a big sack on their head that has a big X on it.
And maybe Producer B.
Producer Y.
Producer Y.
Producer Y.
They can wear Stitch hats.
But cool. Now are these people, the cocktail night, are they involved in the premature shooters?
Yeah, it was the premature shooters. So
cocktail night.
What's funny about it is we're playing grand final on Wednesday. Right. So we chose to do the celebrations ahead of we've put the horse before the cart.
Cart before the horse.
Cart before. No, that's what I'm saying. We've put the horse before the cart.
But the saying is cart before the horse, isn't it?
Yeah, because.
But you need a horse. If you've got a cart without a horse, it doesn't go anywhere. At least if you had a horse, you can ride it.
Anyway, so we had the drinks before the grand final, but I think that's a better way to go sometimes.
Nerve settlers. Yeah. A week out.
A nerve settler. Anyway, it made me wonder, what are the better extracurricular activities that people have done with their mixed netball teams or any netball team?
Yeah.
What about you with your cricket?
Cricket.
Your
I don't know if
career
we've
as an
done
almost professional cricket player.
Almost professional. It's just going to different locations and drinking, isn't it? A lot of people play golf and cricket, and I hate golf / aren't good at it. I caddied once, and I dressed up like a caddy. But caddying's like fun for like a hole, and then you're like, oh, this is even worse than normal golf. Like I'm not even getting to swing. You just get drunk, and it's just getting drunk in different scenarios. You guys had a bit more creativity. Blokes aren't really known for that. We just sort of meet up. If I pitch to my friends, let's do something like that, they'd be like, we'll just go to the pub.
Oh, it was a couple of the boys that organised this, actually. I'll have you know.
Yeah, but what? Maybe your friends are better friends than mine.
But I tell you what I will say is Thursday night's trivia will be large if the premature shooters manage to win.
You guys imagine if that was your nervous drinks, imagine your winner's piss.
We do winner's piss well.
Yes, winner's piss well. Okay, well, look, I look forward to it. If you haven't already got tickets and we've dropped this at about, let's say, 11 a.m. Thursday, I think tickets are done. But turn up.
Check it out. Get online.
Hot dogs.
Just rock up. We'll squeeze you in.
We'll find a way. It'll be upstairs the Royal Saxon. We'll be in Lilo and Stitch outfits if we can get a hold of the second one.
I've got the hat.
Have you? It's just a hat, is it?
Oh, no, it's a costume. I'll organise it.
We'll figure it out. But there you have it. That's our very comprehensive review of the Mavericks Mad Monday.
It is.
Now let's get into the real thing. The big dance. The grand final. It's the West Coast Fever against the Melbourne Vixens, against our Melbourne Vixens, against everyone's Melbourne Vixens.
So you're claiming them now?
Oh, since finals I've been on board.
You were wearing a Swift scarf last week.
Only because you made me.
Yeah.
I don't think I had a choice in the matter.
If you had you would have been wearing a Fever scarf too if we had one.
Exactly, because we are a neutral podcast.
And if the Fever people are watching, we couldn't find a scarf, so there's a ball behind.
I also know the media manager definitely stalks my TikTok. You know the top where you got the little footsteps. He's not hiding anyone. Come up with a different username.
I love that little button.
Yeah, it's great.
People don't realise it exists.
Yeah. And to be honest, I wish I didn't know it existed anyway. But grand final, Fever, Vixens at Rod Laver. Now, many people have been in the DMs, have been in the comments saying, Rod Laver is a home final. How do you finish fourth and get a home final? That's ridiculous, right? People have been saying that, Liv.
Yeah.
But it's not a home final because I don't think the Vixens have ever played at Rod Laver, and particularly not this group of players. And every single other sport in Australia, bar the Sheffield Shield, has a locked-in grand final location.
I think, yes, it's not a home grand final, but...
Oh, the crowd.
It's probably the same court. They're just picking it up from John Cain Arena and dropping it off at
it's a different
Rod Laver
look and feel, though.
I reckon it feels
exactly
the same
Well,
underfoot.
you can say that about any court because the courts are the same size in netball.
Yeah, but I think From
you reckon
what
the
I feel,
floorboards are different?
I think there's like a different feel under some of them or something.
Well, at
the way
Netball
they
SA
talk
Stadium,
about
it was actually bumpy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
From the decals
Yeah,
being
yeah.
ripped up. Yes, I think it might be a reasonably neutral crowd because it won't be a neutral crowd. It might be a reasonably neutral court because nobody has played at Rod Laver Arena before, but it's still going to be a very heavy Melbourne crowd.
It'll be a sea of navy blue.
Having said that, at the time of recording, the Super Netball are very close to a sellout. So people could be coming across from Perth.
Well, let's hope so.
They
for the
probably
Fever's
are.
fate. A sea of green. There would just be flights and flights of Fever members flying across. Maybe they've got a private jet, the West Coast Fever, with all their mining sponsors. I'm sure they could afford one. Hannah Mundy. Now, friend of yours, friend of the show, Hannah. She's been out with an undisclosed injury yet again. Why are we not disclosing them? Regardless, I think it's stress in the foot. This is just my trained eye wearing moon boots. It doesn't seem to be like from the fitness stuff you can see that she's been doing. I think it's a stress-related thing in the foot. Anyway, they said she would be out until near the end of the season. They didn't put an end of season. They didn't say she's out. When they won on the weekend, she was out there centre court, speed of light. I think she's moving fine. I reckon it's a smoky to get up, which would be very disappointing for Tara Watson because you would have to drop her.
I think Hannah Mundy will get on court on Saturday.
Yeah. I don't think they'll start her.
They won't start her, but I think they'll warm her up. I think they'll list her and she'll get on court. Just don't know for how long. And I think it'll give them a nice sort of boost so it'll just sort of top off that attacking combo.
Yeah. I think because she does give a lot of it's a different player to Walters, and as we mentioned at the top, she gives a lot of attacking load, which I think Kate Maloney, as much as she's been an absolute weapon, she looks like she might sleep for a month at the end of this final series with much work she's doing.
But I think that this game will be won and lost in the midcourt, and so both teams will be really trying to get those combinations right. Nobody's going to be able to stop Janelle Fowler Nembard.
Yeah, it's an interesting one, isn't it? Because yeah.
I think if you're going to this game, you're like, okay, shock horror, they're going to pass it to Janelle.
Yeah.
So they're not going to be able to stop that, but what they can stop is ATN feeding it into her. And so I think what I'm most interested in is going to be that combination with most likely Kate Eddy and Alice Teague-Neal.
Yeah, the matchup.
Yeah.
Kate Eddy will definitely start there. You got Weston too. They're both, because of the way Beckford plays, it'd be interesting to see too how much respect they give Beckford. Because in terms of like the Weston and Eddy almost not double team, but really pour attention into Teague-Neal and try to make Beckford become the number one creative outlet. Beckford's no slouch at that. She's very, very good. Yeah. And her assist numbers say the same thing. I agree with you in terms of Janelle's going to score 50 plus and the Fever are going to score at least 60 plus.
Yeah.
So I said this last week, you've got to fight fire with fire.
Yeah.
I think if the Vixens spend the whole week trying to figure out how to stop Janelle, it's almost the impossible task. Like you said, you can try and stop the ball getting to her by stopping Alice and Shanice and so on, but it's going to get down there and she's going to score them. I think you've got to worry about how can we score more than them rather than stopping her scoring.
So that's where I think Fever's best focus will be getting their defensive combos right. So I think speaking to my Fever correspondents, they seem to be keen to see all of them, like a defensive trio with Katie, Sunday, and Fran.
So they want Fran Williams in wing defence.
That's what my consultant said. Correspondent.
I don't know about that. And then what you move Jess Ansis into centre. That's a bit stiff on Jordan Kransberg. I don't know. I don't think they'll do that. I think it'll be Katie Ann and Sunday with Jess Ansis to start. Fran Williams is.
I think it'll be that to start, but
Sunday, Kira Austin does so much that you need to have Sunday. You can't have. I think Sunday has to play on Kira because I think she'll give Fran Williams the runaround. She'll just run her all over the court.
Yeah, but if they can disrupt that goaling combination, they'll win the game. If the Vixens can stop the feeds, so the Vixens need their midcourt to be strong.
Yeah,
the Fever need their defense to be strong.
Yeah, I think it's a weird one because all the stats, and let's be honest. I know we're on the Vixens bandwagon, but let's be honest. The Fever should win this by 5 to 10 goals.
Yeah.
Like, really.
They should.
Because you look across the court, their weakest point is Jordan Kransberg, who's having one of the all-time seasons in centre.
Yeah.
And maybe Shanice Beckford, who's an international player in goal attack. They're the two weak points in the team. We've already said even if Mundy gets up, she's coming off no netball in 6 weeks. So the Vixens are playing with a bench that is average age of 22 and have played a total of 9 games between them this year. So all of the 6-day break for the Vixens. So we know they were on a Sunday night flight. We actually personally recorded before I saw them. So
Fran has been good on kip at an international level though.
Oh, no doubt Fran's up to it. I just think Sunday is the perfect matchup because of her explosiveness. And then also the fact that she's a weapon going the other way too, which is something you've got to be against Skip. So, it's going to be interesting. We definitely think it's going to be, like you said, it's going to be close to a sellout. You did mention as well at the start of the show whether people are worried that the Vixens have played their grand final though.
Yeah. I don't think they have. I think the Vixens...
Well, technically they haven't, no.
Well, they obviously haven't. I think that the Vixens, if they hadn't have lost the grand final last year in Adelaide, that's where that is still going to be inside them, and that's what's going to be burning in their stomach.
It's a narrative central at the Vixens.
Yeah, obviously, you could sit around and say they've played their grand final because they've had to win the last 7 games, and they're going to get to this game, and can they maintain that? We'll see. But I think they're still reeling from that loss last year.
Yeah, like I said, narrative central. So you've got the fact that they lost last year's grand final, and the fact that it's Simone's last game. There's a lot of narrative, and it's at Rod Layer. A lot of narratives there. The 6-day break, there is something in the fact that they've played, as you mentioned, 6 or 7 do or die games in a row, and 2 finals that the Thunderbirds final wasn't quite as tight, but was still very tight right to the end.
Yeah,
and then this one, like the emotional, like they would have been, they're still buzzing, I think, and the emotional, the amount of energy it takes from you is surprising. Like, and it depends how they can navigate that. Like, they almost have to. It's only been at the time of recording, not even 48 hours since they put off that win. So they have to somehow pull themselves back down from that cloud and find their feet to then reset again.
Go again, yeah.
Which is easier said than done. But it depends. Some people like just riding the wave. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if the young'uns just ride the wave into it and try to keep it going on the way. And then you people like Maloney have probably, as soon as they stepped on that plane or stepped off it, switched back into looking ahead mode.
I think they know how to do it though. They did it last year, obviously not to win the grand final, but I think they will have learnt a lot from that last year. I truly think that they'll win this game. Well, I think that the Melbourne crowd will be what gets them across the line.
Player.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, they're 11th, 12th.
Oh, they're 12th player?
I was only 10 on the team.
Yeah, but like 11. Yeah. Yeah, right.
Yeah, anyway. It'll be their secondary bench.
It will be their secondary bench.
Well, speaking of tips, we've stopped doing the tips since HK went away because I towed her up.
Yeah.
And Liv didn't want to do them. But now that the Vixens are flying and into the grand final, and it's a grand final show, we've got to do some tips. But we're going to add in some extra flavour, Liv. So what we're going to do is we're going to do the tip. We're going to do the margin.
Yep.
We're going to do first goal.
Yep.
Which works in a lot of other sports, not quite as much in netball, but we're still going to do it. And we're going to do player of the match.
Yep.
Okay, so you ready? Who's your tip?
My tip is the Vixens.
Right.
By 1.
Okay, I'm just going to write these down. Vixens by 1. By 1?
Yep.
After extra time?
It's going to be an extra time. Or if not extra time, it's going to be very close.
Okay. Who's first goal?
First goal will be...
It depends who gets the centre pass, doesn't it?
Depends who gets the centre pass. You could go really silly with this and go like it.
Well, let's be honest. It's going to be Janelle or probably Garbo. I think the outside chance is Beckford, but she takes 4 shots a game.
Okay, I'll give it to Kira Austin.
So you think the Vixens, so according to you, the Vixens have won the toss and they're going to take the centre pass?
Yep.
Player of the match.
Player of the match will also be Kira Austin.
There you go. We just kept it pretty simple there. Okay, my tip, I'm going to go, look, as much as I would love the Vixens to win and the fairy tale, I do unfortunately think that Fever are going to win quite comfortably. I think it'll be Fever by about 7. I don't know. It's just like if you look at their winning margins, I think they haven't played a close game in like, did anyone else hear that just like disappointment in Liv's grown there? I just can't. Look at it, arms crossed.
I just don't want to.
Just fuming at that tip.
I think you're just like hoping for a boring game.
I'm not hoping.
An exciting game.
I'm not hoping.
It's not going to be fun if the Fever win by 7.
Of course it's not going to be fun if the Fever win by 7. But look at the form one. They won 13 in a row by an average winning margin of 46 or something. The Vixens are the closest to them and they lost by 13.
Well,
I'm saying Fever by 7. First goal, Alice Teague-Nield. I think Dan will swing the magnets and he's going to throw a curveball at him. And player of the match. Janelle's the easy one, but I don't think we should be allowed to pick her.
Nah.
How about Jordan Kranzberg? Because you think she's going to get booted.
No, I think she'll have a crack.
Your Fever correspondent thinks she won't start.
Okay. And now should we do the same thing for the Premature Shooters Grand Final?
Okay, let's do that. Who are they playing?
So we're playing against the Icebreakers.
Wow, slugs. Absolute slugs, the Icebreakers.
At 7:20.
Yeah, where at?
At Ryan's Reserve.
Well, this will have already been played. So that's probably at time recording. So prediction, do you want me to predict?
Yep.
Okay, so Premature Shooters by 4.
Last time we played them, we won 18-7.
All right, Premature Shooters by 8.
Yep.
First goal, Dean.
Yep, Dean.
Yeah.
Did I tell you about how last week we had some spectators and they were calling Dean the Bear?
Yeah,
and so
from the TV show The Bear.
Dean, for those at home, he's the Janelle Fowler of mixed netball. Right. He is 200 centimetres tall almost.
He's cheap. No,
and so the Premature Shooters are the Fever of our league. Right. And so we just pivot into him. Yep.
Yeah. And player of the match? Oh, it's got to be Schnoobs. It's got to be you, Mo. Running the show in defence. Running the show in defence. Wing defence of the year. Underrated position.
We'll see. But come to the trivia on Thursday night for kick-ons.
If you see someone in a Stitch hat wearing multiple medals, you'll know the Premature Shooters have gotten up.
Well, there we go.
What a sign-off. That's in the backcourt. Episode 20 is a big grand final week. Liv's going the Vixens by 1. Apparently, I'm the worst bloke on the planet for thinking that the Fever, who haven't lost in 3 months, will win the grand final. If you are at the grand final, you'll see us there. So if you spot us in the wild, come up, say hello, bring us some food because we'll probably be hungry. But if not, we'll see you next week and we may or may not have a very, very special Caribbean correspondent in the studio. So keep your lips sealed and your eyes peeled for that one. But until next one, go netball.